So to change the number of nozzles, the first thing we need to do is remove this handle and remove the seed box. So to do that, we will need to remove the springs. Let's see how to do that. So to remove the springs, what I would do is press here. Put the machine on its side. Put the machine on its side. Press in here. And then you can pull, so you can remove the spring. Same goes to the other side. So I press the spring. Okay, so now the springs are off. We need to remove the handle. Do not loosen these screws fully, otherwise the screw will, a nut will fall down. But even that happens, you can reattach. Right, so now that we've removed that, we can put the machine on its side. And we can continue to remove the seed box screws. Okay, cut பண்ணிக்கோங்க. So on the side of the machine we have a few markings. We have something called A on this side, and then we have an arrow mark here, and then install. So this is quite important, make a note of it. So this side is A and this side should be B. This is B, and there's also an arrow mark here. Now at any point both these arrow marks must be on the same side. So the arrow mark is here and the arrow mark on this side is here, so they're always on the same point. Now you need to make sure that they are there, so we don't make any mistakes when we remove and assemble. So now we need to remove these nozzles so that we can refit a lesser number of nozzles. In this case I think we will go for a 6 number of nozzles. So to do that we will need to first remove the screw that's pointing to the arrow mark, but before we do that we need to remove this cover. So to remove this cover, we will just use a little bit of help from the screwdriver. So that way, and then the same goes. So now we've been able to remove. So we need to remove these screws. I hope that you can see the arrow mark here. So we need to remove this screw, and the same thing on this side. We need to remove this screw. So off comes this one. So now as you can see, all these parts come out. So next one comes out. This one comes out. This one comes out. This one comes out. So we need to remove all the nozzles before we can refit them back. इधर भी काम से okay इधर में remove பண்ணணும். So now we are down to the last one, so we need to remove this as well. So to do that, we're going to do the same. So we need to remove this as well. So the first time that we did was we removed the install. Now we are going to remove the screw next to the arrow mark that's closer to A. Okay, now this one also goes the whole distance. So now we're going to fix 6 nozzles. So all other 6 nozzles will be outside. Only 6 nozzles will be fitted. So to do that, we need to take this kit from our box. And the way you know that it's 6 nozzles is you'll see a number 6 here. Also pay attention to this to the letters A and B, because we'll be using them while assembly. So we're going to use the 6 number blank plates. We will have to use all of this in order to fix the 6 plates. So now that I've moved this nozzle to the left, I'm going to put this one here. So to do that, I need to make sure that B is on the B side and A is on the A side. And I will install them such that the next to the arrow marks. So put them there, and then make sure so they just slide on like this. Okay, so we put them here. And then make sure they slide on and they sit flush. You have to make sure that they're sitting flush like this. Okay, and then the next thing that we need to do is we need to make sure that we are able to so the next thing we need to do is make sure that these screw holes where we have removed the screws from are seated to this one. So we will move this forward. We will push this forward and make sure the screws get aligned to this one. So over here, I will make sure that the screw hole matches with this arrow mark. So to do that, I will push this forward, and now, okay, this side is fine. Now I need to make sure this hole goes here. So to do that, I will hold and push this forward, backward, and then once it is here, okay. So now we have both of them are fine. So now we will put the screws. And then one more to this side. Okay, so this is the beginning of the process. So now we have one here. The next thing that we need to do is put another blank. So we take another blank, we match the sides A and B, and then we slide it all the way back. Can get a bit difficult, but then it goes here. Then we take one nozzle, same A and B here, make sure that A and B are there. So the way we assemble is we go in this way. We go in this way, and then we slide it back. Then we take another number 6, AB, make sure A and B is there. Slide. Okay. Now we take another nozzle, make sure A and B are right. We take one more number 6, A and B. Here. And then we take one more nozzle. Same thing, this goes first. This way. Then we take another 6AB. Then we take another nozzle. Then we take another number 6 blank. Now comes the final part. So now there's only space for one more nozzle. So we're going to put that here and then close this gap. So this space can get a bit tight, but all that you have to do is make sure that all the nozzle, if it doesn't sit flush, all that you have to do is make sure that all of them are in place. And then finally you have everything seated in place. So as you can see, this sits very nice. So this is the final piece. It goes and sits very nice. So what we need to do now is remove this cover so that we can put the, I've told you how to remove the cover. It's this way. So cover is off. So we take 2 screws and we put them here. So pay attention to where the arrow marks are. And then one more goes onto this side. Okay, so now you can see that everything is flush and nice. So we reassemble these covers from wherever we've taken it apart. So this one. Then the last one. So now we have ourselves a 6 nozzle seeder that's ready. So we can put it back by reassembling the seed box. We have 2 screws here. If you lose any of the screws, there are quite a few screws given in the spare kit, so you don't have to worry too much. Okay, and then we go about reassembling the handle. So you make sure the handle is in the right place, and then the handle receiver is in the right place, and then you put the handle back in. So now that I've shown you how to go from 12 nozzles to 6 nozzles, this procedure is pretty much the same for 7 nozzles, 8 nozzles, or 10 nozzles, and so on. So we have a kit for everything in the bag that it came in, so you can just replace them by yourself. Right, so just to show you one more example, I'm going to go from the current 6 nozzle configuration to an 8 nozzle configuration. So to do that, I need to take the 8 nozzle kit from the bag. So this is the 8 nozzle kit. I know that because there's 8 written on all of the spacers. So I'm going to put this aside for now. And the first thing that we need to do, as you know from the previous thing, we need to remove the seed box in this state. We've already removed the handle, so I cannot show you how to remove the handle. But for now, we're going to remove the seed box by removing these 2 screws. Okay, the 2 screws are gone. So off comes the seed box. So now what we need to do is we need to find the arrow marks. So here are the arrow marks. So we need to remove this cover first. And we need to remove this screw. So off comes that. Now we will need to remove all of these spacers and nozzles. So that's the 6. So all the nozzles will be put to one side. So this is the last nozzle to come out. So we have all the nozzles out. Now what we need to do is release the this one, the big arrow mark near the A. So we will need to release these screws and then slide this forward. But while we do that, we're not going to remove this immediately. We will still have the 6 in for some time just for stability reasons. So what we're going to do is remove the 6. When I say 6, it's the 6 spacer. So the 6 spacer is going to move now. Now the screws are out, it's going to move. Okay, so it's moved. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one of the 8 spacers. So this is an 8 spacer. So I'm going to put this in this space. Make sure that whenever you're doing this activity, make sure that the screw holes are matched, because they tend to move away. So these are the screw holes, one here and one here. So make sure they're aligned so that you can easily fix this part inside. So if you have any difficulty in putting this piece, just make sure that you press this in a little bit and then it is easy for you to. So always make sure you're at the arrow mark end, and if you can't get it in, press it a little bit and now you're able to slide this in. So I've now slide this way. I'm going to now put the screws on here. So I'm going to put the 8 spacer, match the screws, and then match the screw on this side. So I've got one. Okay, so one down, another one. Fortunately, it's lined up for me, so I can. Okay, so this is spacer 8. Spacer 6 is still there, but spacer 8 has gone in and it's here right above B. And on this side, it's right above this arrow mark. Okay, now I can go ahead and remove this 6. It's of no use to me now. So I'm going to slide it all the way around. When it comes here, it comes out. That's it. That's the last of the 6. So the first thing that I'm going to do now is insert. Now we've already got an 8 number spacer here, so there goes in a nozzle. So always remember, when you put the nozzle, it goes in this way first. There's a little lip, so that goes under the spacer, and then you can do this easily. Okay, so one more time, it goes here, and then you slide it all the way back. Bring it there. One more 8. Make sure you've got the A and B sides right. Remember how I did it? First at the tip in, and then goes next one. The next nozzle, again same way. Goes another 8. A and B, make sure the A and B is right, otherwise you won't get it. One more nozzle. Another 8. A, B, A and B. One more nozzle. Eight A and B. One more nozzle. Another 8. Paying attention to A and B. One more nozzle. One more nozzle, A this side, B this side. One more nozzle. So make sure that, see, there's some dead space on this side. All has to come together if you need to assemble the last piece. So we will do that now. So we've got a last blank, and after this we've only got one more nozzle that can go in. So paying attention to A and B, slide it in this way. And then if I try putting a nozzle in, it will not go in. The reason being, there's not much space here. That's because I have a lot of space here. This all needs to close up. Everything needs to close up. So I'm going to put this on the side and then move everything closer. Give it a little bit of force, a little bit of a tap. So now I'm making space. As you can see, I'm making space. I'm making space for the one last nozzle. So if everything went right, this should sit just right. So as you can see, there is very minimal space now. That's almost perfect. Now I can just press this in and you can see there's absolutely no gap here. Now how do I fix this? you know the drill. I need to remove this cover. It's always better to do it this side because there's some support. So this goes off. Now I need to put the screws. I need to put the 2 screws here, and if everything was done right, it should line up right at this arrow mark on the install, very close to the install. So this one and the next arrow mark here. So these 2 screws. So I've got 2 screws here. So this one goes in. And then one more. Just give it a good snug and you are good. Now the machine is installed. All that's left to do is just putting this one back in. So make sure that you've got the right way around. Yep. So we should have 8 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we have 8 and it's perfect. So the next thing that you have to do is put your seat box on. 2 more screws. Okay, now you're good to go. Right, so the next thing that we need to do is assemble the frame. Let's take this frame and then we will assemble onto the machine. So until it seats here, then you can go ahead and tighten these. So the next part is we're going to assemble this part into this handle. We can go ahead and fix these in. Okay, so now the one is assembled. We can assemble the second one. Just expand a little bit from the bottom and now you have yourself, the handle is good. So now we get to assemble this portion onto this machine. So the way we do it is, so the machine's got to be like this. Okay, so now the handle is assembled and the roller is assembled. We can lift it up. So the next thing that we have to do is assemble these springs. So the springs will go on here. So to do that, we grab the spring by the index finger, we pull it that way. The same happens on this side. Grab it by the index finger and there we go. So we have this machine fully assembled now.